beautiful evening, and you don't know what you're up for. The title of this concert, it's a theme concert. I don't do those as well, or at least I find myself shying away from it. But this one here, we are celebrating 50 years since Evel Knievel jumped into the Snake River Canyon. I don't think that was his goal. And I did come around the audience looking for Butte people to apologize beforehand. So if that's you, or if it's relatives or kin or things like that, I'm sorry. But it was just a huge scam and unsuccessful venture that we're finding more and more out about. But the Butte High School band was there. All right? On Evel's nickel. About the only thing he ever paid a bill for in Butte in his life. I'm not from Butte, but and we've got people here that played in that band 50 years ago. And I know some of them are still alive. And the magical thing is we have the band director from Butte High that was there and took him there 50 years ago. And he's going to limp up here and try to conduct something too. That's his family. Hey, please rise and sing the Star Spangled Banner. Grandpa Tracy's got a birthday tonight. If you've got a birthday tonight, scream right now. I'm getting spoiled with this, being able to share the concert. Now, I can go back and have a cocktail and take a nap. Rest back up again. My partner here, Don Jaramillo, will kick us off on the first tune of this journey. The event was covered by the ABC Wide World of Sport. Don will fill you in.
If you were around in the 70s, early 70s, you would remember that ABC had coverage at nearly everything, from hot dog eating contests to Elvis jumping, Evel jumping. That's a different story, sorry. Evel, well, I should have had more drink. Evel jumping the Snake River. That 10-second journey that he took that will live forever. So we're going to play that what they did, they played the opening theme of the Wide World of Sports. So we're going to play the Wide World of Sports theme here for you. The next piece, Brett Tate's going to come up. Brett was a member of the band that went to Evil's Jump. She's going to tell a little backstory about this tune. Should I tell them the title of the tune, or you going to tell them? So this is Brett Tate, one of our trumpet players. Look down the Bitterroot, give a round of applause to Brett Tate.
So, yeah, as Don said, I was a sophomore in high school, went to the jump, and it was not like, if you saw it on TV, that is nothing like it was. It was chaos. And the crowd was restrained by glorified snow fences and the Hells Angels. And so Evil was supposed to come out and give this speech, and it's delayed, so nothing's happening. And they started to push the fences down. And they lit the porta potties on fire. They're tipping over the beer vendors and stealing beer. And the promoters were in a bit of a panic because this is on Wide World Sports, it's on TV, and all this chaos is happening. And they start screaming at our band director, who you will see later tonight, to play something. Play something. So we did. And we're going to play this next for you, Baby Light My Fire.
I could have never done that any justice. Here we go. next tune is the theme track from a Clint Eastwood movie. He had late 60s, early 70s, he had done a bunch of the spaghetti westerns. And then he decided to do some extra ones where the lips matched the language. And this one was hanging high. And Brett tells me the story of this tune. The same year that the Butte Band played for the Elo Jump, they also did the Rose Parade that wintertime. And this was one of the pieces they did in the Rose Parade. So we're going to do the theme tune from the movie Hanging High. Enjoy.
We figure it's a good time to pick your pockets, so the people out there are legitimate, okay? Thank you very much for your contributions. We appreciate it. The city gives us a little bit of money, but not enough to really scrape by, so there'll be some wonderful people come out and hang a bag on you. Hey kid, make sure you catch a gentleman over here in this area right there. He's been neglected. We want to pick his pockets. Right there, that fellow waving at you. Make sure he digs deep. Hey, that last tune was arranged by, you can tell how old we are. That was arranged by Lance Boyd, who's been now retired probably 10 years, something like that. He was the jazz band director, the trombone teacher, low brass teacher at U of M. He come out here as a graduate student from University of Minnesota, and was also doing the marching band. And the director of the Butte High School band had just graduated recently. That was his teacher, and he shared a couple of arrangements. Don did some fixing up on it, but that was written by Lance Boyd, and many of us have suffered under Lance Boyd. He's not here, is he? He doesn't get... We love you, Lance. He's up in Sealy Lake looking for Bigfoot. You can tell there was a marching band, about 120 paces, that Butte took up there before the company left, okay? It was a big school, and they had a discussion, and they thought it was a good idea to send a fellow who just signed a contract 2 weeks into the school year down on a road trip to Idaho with brand new band, brand new kids, brand new everything. And hats off to Ken for making it work. This tune here was requested. This was not really a commissioned tune. Here's the story, and it is ongoing right now. So put your feet up, get comfortable. Evel Knievel and his entourage were staying in the best hotel in Twin Falls, the closest city to the Snake River, and there was a lounge singer in the lounge entertaining the troops every night. And he was a personable fellow. His name was Bobby Mack. We finally found him, and I spoke to him today, and I'm still waiting for his call back. He's 2.5 hours late now. He's still working. The entourage of Evel suggested that he write a tune about Evel. So he did. And they liked it. So he got a hold of the only producer and studio in the area in Ogden. Called the fella. The fella said, well, yeah, let's do it. And he told him the chord changes and sang the tune to him over the phone. 2 weeks later, the composer, Johnny Mack, went down, and they recorded an A-side and a B-side, 2 hours. However, the composer talked the arranger into footing the bill, and still I haven't been able to ask that question. But that's right, the studio paid to have the record pressed, sent to LA, got 5,000 copies of it. The arranger still has 1,000 copies in his garage. And the night before the jump, there were some biker bands there, and not bands, biker groups there. And our composer and arrangers were both on site, and they commenced the biker fight. And they tipped over the booth with the records, took the records out, and were throwing them at each other. Using them as weapons. Yesterday I bought one on eBay, but it won't be here on time. And this fella, the composer, was supposed to send me a recording, and it didn't make it. Otherwise, Scott McKenzie was nice enough. He was going to try to sing it without rehearsal. Instead, you'll have to just put up the words, and they're inspiring. Evil is his name. You'll hear the melody. You can sing along with it. And danger is his game. The canyon is his aim. I never knew a man so determined to take a stand. Jumping from land to land on a motorcycle, Evel Knievel is the man of the day. He stands courageous in his suave but robust way. He knows where he's going. You can bet on that. You'll never know. He might outlive us at last. Oh, we're still here. That didn't necessarily work. It's an interesting song. It won't be too much of a tone. It's considered pop, easy listening. So just go ahead and sing along, okay? producers. Say hi and thanks to Susan Hintz. Researcher extraordinaire. I've had the tune for about 3 months. The band director at Butte High School also was a classmate of Brett's and did this trip with the Butte band. And she gave me this obscure piece of music, almost a commission, but it was really just a barroom bet is what it was, like the state song of Montana. And first, Susan found the arranger of this thing sitting in a hospital bed. He's now in the rest home. He's got pneumonia. He says he's dying, and but I couldn't shut him up. After an hour, I had to say thank you and promise him I'd send him an email and a text message, and I ran down to Bitterroot for yesterday's rehearsal. It's been so much fun finding a story for this, and the story is probably better than the two. Speaking of going down the route, we had rehearsal last night with the Bitterroot Community Band, and many of them are here with us tonight. Say hi, Bitterroot! I was part of the gang that started this band 100 years ago. I'm so glad we can do stuff back and forth. We're going to take it on the road and play at a Daily Mansion on Saturday at 1 o'clock in that beautiful venue. Just before the beer fest, so I know what I'm doing after. And I'm still in negotiations with taking this show on the road with the Butte Community Band. And hopefully in August, we're going to get ourselves a spot over in Butte at that little band shell out at Stodden Park and be able to present it to the people of Butte. Because there's people over, not everyone was in business at the time that Evil was around, so he doesn't owe everybody in Butte money. And if you're a Butte fan of pork chop sandwich, that his favorite, and I always say it wrong, it's Freeway Bar, Muzzy's Freeway Bar. You know, they have the best pork chop sandwich in town, and that was Evil's favorite hole. And he'd walk in the door, order drinks around, and then sneak out the back door before paying the bill. Sounds like my kind of fella. All the music was memorized by the Butte High School band. It was a marching band gig, and Wind at the Canyon was just nuts. They're in full old school wool marching band uniforms, sweating out there, dying of the dust, playing these pop tunes and trying to keep the bikers from killing each other. And Tunes of the Day was this original. This is the same arrangement they played 50 years ago. It was a Chicago hit, Make Me Smile. half this music doesn't have drum parts and it's back there wanging away. It's a dangerous thing when you start a tune out and just tell the percussion to wing it, you know? Worked out okay. We all wore, I don't know why, wool was so popular, but it's all we had for band uniforms 50 years ago. If you were a band kid 50 years ago, you remember how hot that god-awful stuff was. Did you have to wear shakos too? Did you have hats on? Big hats. They had big, ugly, tall hats there. Even hotter. Here is, one of the songs that the band already had memorized, though this is not the same arrangement, I'm sure. Sorry, and it's hard for me to play this song, period. And Steve and a number of us are Big Ten folks, and this wasn't one of the schools that represented on the bandstand right now. But it was Butte High School's school song. And hold on, and it was Candy's school song. What little town did you grow up in? Fraser. I haven't heard of it. Somewhere east of here, yeah? Lots and lots of schools. Next is Notre Dame Victory March. It's the most popular Big Ten song stolen for high schools to make their own words to. The real title is On Wisconsin. All right? That other school to the north of where I went to school. But it was Butte High School's song. Enjoy. I've got a lovely gift up here. If your kids want to come up after the concert and play with my Evel Knievel toy. I had trouble just getting it out of the box. But you're welcome to come up and play Evel Knievel. We all had Evel Knievel toys. Evel financed the rest of his life on the money he made on ABC royalties. We all, as we were playing the opening theme song for the wide world of sports, we all remember the pictures, the skier coming off the ramp, falling into the crowd. You know, oh my God! One of the pictures was Evel trying to jump over the Caesar's Palace. All right, how about that fiasco? He had more than 80 jumps. He said he broke every bone in his body some twice. He jumped and jumped and jumped, and oftentimes he didn't jump. There's a bunch of height. His first jump was at 65, and he was over Moses Lake. He was trying to run a motorcycle operation and jumped over a box of rattlesnakes. Yeah, pretty cool, huh? I did that big jump at Wembley Stadium, trying to jump over buses. We all remember that one. One at the Kingdom. The guy was just crazy, you know, and besides being a con man, he was also quite a great promoter, and we have to give him that. And now, ladies and gentlemen, though it's hard to imagine, and since I had the microphone, he doesn't yet, that this guy is still alive. uh, that that young in your career, he'd been at Columbia Falls for a year or two before, the young teacher, and got the Butte High job. And he came over, and his music supervisor said, Evel Knievel would like to talk to you. So he drove over to the country club, golf course, where Evel lived down there, and met with him. He was very gracious and wanted the band to go. And all he did was rent a bus. And then bought kids breakfast. No one can remember if they ate anything besides. But they loaded up at midnight in Butte, drove all night long, ate at some facility in in Twin Falls, and then went down to on site, which was just total mayhem by then. Fought their way to their site, almost died by the crowd trying to find out, because when the rock, it was a rocket. It had to be licensed as a airplane. It was not a motorcycle, all right? It was a steam-powered rocket. And as it lifted off, before it even got off the device, the chute came out prematurely. It's a huge controversy about, did the Evel pull the emergency chute too soon? Yeah. Anyway, the rocket barely got off and just went over the edge and straight down. So the crowd, as Brett was telling you, the crowd rushed to the edge of the canyon. The problem was that the band was between them and the canyon. So the kids just got it, and the teacher responsible for 130 people. No wonder he looks like he looks today. The guy aged 25. Please welcome to the bandstand, Ken Berg. Ken! I hope he comes up here after all that bad mouth that I gave. That's the guy that did it. He's our hero. Thank you very much. I did have a few things to say, but he talks a lot. So, he talked to me about this next tune and said people were complaining about it. It's called Bubbles with a Cheerleader. And the Butte High Band, I'm thinking, is probably the only band in this state that ever played Bubbles with a Cheerleader. I brought it to you from Disneyland, where I heard it and played it with the band there. And, you just gotta go with what it is. The title is a little odd, but if you listen to the drummer, he's gonna kick the cheerleader in the bottom, and away we go. Well, hope you enjoy it. Bubbles with the Cheerleader. anybody out there who was at the jump in Twin Falls? You're a survivor too. Wow. It was interesting, and all of the kids, Brett, Kate, stand up with you, please. Brett was in the band, and all of those kids remember everything that went on better than I do. Not because I'm old, but because they had the time of their life. The tuba players were having women's undergarments thrown in their tubas, and there were a lot of half-naked people, and it was a very wild experience. I personally was just thrilled to get back to Butte. All the kids, and no damage, and it was a tremendous experience. So. We're getting down towards the end of the concert. I think if we let Gary back up, we can extend it till dark. Now I hope I look that good when I'm that old. Look, he can walk. I suggested the handicap ramp to him. Ken has been a reluctant participant. When I first got in touch with him, well, first I couldn't believe that he was still alive. And we met several times, thanks to Brett to drag him along. And Monday at rehearsal, he got the clip. He hadn't been in front of a band for quite some time, and now a big band. He spent the last part of his career teaching junior high band on purpose. So after that shock of Butte, can you imagine being happy just to get to Butte? All right? And then to do junior high band, oh my God. He got in front of this band the other night, and it was just so cute. I was going to say you should direct some more, but I figure he's out of breath now anyway. Here's another Chicago tune, the same arrangement they played. It was 25 or 6 to 4. one-hit wonder. None of us know his name, Cliff Robles. And the back of the song was the same song as the front. For you youngsters, when you get home, ask your grandparents about records, okay? And the backside had lyrics to it. I never listened to it. I had the 45. I had no idea what was on the backside. It didn't matter. Because the front side had the best lick in all of music at the time. All right? You'll hear it go, oh yeah, and it'll be an earworm for you for the rest of the freaking night. Here is the horse. Well, thank you. I could go on and on. Maybe I'd speak for another. Oh no, I'll have a Molly class and talk all about it sometime. It was a unique event to Montana and for the country, for the world. Everyone knows something about evil, even if you're less than 50 years old. The actual date was that second week of September previous, back there. I didn't know about it until September of this year when there was a little article in the Butte Standard. One of my friend's kids gave it to me. I went, oh my God, I missed it. No, I didn't. It's still within the calendar year, dang it. We're good with it. It was an event that transpired all of us, and to be able to share the music with you, it's been a gas. There's one more tune left. I just want to let you know that next week is different again. It should be different every week. God, I hope so. Or would you like another whole week full of Butte marching band music? I think our old bassoon players would differ with you. Next week, a young couple that is supplanting the previous cutest couple in Missoula. They've now graduated to the coolest couple in Missoula. And this is Ellen Peterson, who she's been singing with us for several years now. Dorothy and Dean Peterson's girl. She teaches music here in town, and she's hanging around with some trumpet player who plays the symphony. So they will be with us next week, playing and singing alone and doing something together that Don arranged for them. So you don't want to miss Ellen Peterson and Jens Jacobson. Man, I had to work on that name. Thanks so much for coming out. What a beautiful night again. I was so lucky. And then the wind has been blowing from the west. So even though we got a fire up Patty Canyon, look at this beautiful sky. I hope we can continue in this manner. Final tune, I missed it originally on Ken's list of remembrances of tunes they did, and he thought he should bring something Western to the situation. Here's another movie theme. Enjoy. This is the Magnificent Seven. Good day. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed that trumpet solo. Rob Wilson, a fellow Butte rat that's older than the rest of them. Thanks, kids. We'll see you next week.